So yes, good morning, students. Yesterday we have started with the biology practical. So we have started with experiment number 11, in which we have to study the two plants and two animals through the models or the virtual images, means pictures that are found in aquatic conditions. Aquatic conditions, maybe it may be the fresh water like the lakes, ponds, and rivers, or maybe it may be the marine, means like the seas and oceans. So we have to study that. First, we have to identify them, and then we have to comment upon their morphological adaptations, what are found in them, how they adapt themselves to live in such aquatic conditions, whether it is the plants or whether it is the animals. Fine. So yes, this was the list that you have to complete in your biology activity book. So yes, yesterday we have done with this. We have studied the two plants. Instead of two plants, I have taken the three plants. One plant in extra. Fine. So it will be better to study the three plants. So in spotting, any one or two plant will come. Fine. So we have so far studied the Hydrilla, Velislaria, and Echinoria. Fine. This is the Hydrilla we have done with this. This is the Velisaria we have done with this, and this is Echinoria we have done with this. So yes, now today we will start. Today we will start with the two animals. So today we will study the two animals through their models or the virtual images. I have both virtual images I have, and also I have the models also. So in the end I will show you the models. You simply have to identify them and comment upon them. So that are found in the aquatic conditions. Aquatic conditions may be the fresh water or maybe the marine like the sea. So first we have to identify them and then comment upon their morphological adaptations. So for this, I have selected three fishes. I have selected. One is the labio, another is the mriggle fish, and third one is the scolidion. Ma'am, I have done all the experiment. Okay, fine. That's great, sir. So yes, first we will be starting with the labio. So the zoological name of this labio fish is it's the labio rohita. It is commonly called as a carp. Why it is commonly called as a carp? Because it belongs to the carp family. It belongs to a family of the fishes which is called as a carp. That's why it is called as a carp. Since it is found in the India, it is very common in the India. It is also called as the Indian carp. Indian carp. And we also call generally or normally we also called as it the rohu. And Bengalis, they specially love to call this fish as the rui. Rui. These Bengali, they call this fish as a rui. The zoological name is a Labio rohita. So, as we know, this Labio rohita, it is a freshwater fish. See, it's a freshwater fish. So, it is found in all the freshwater bodies, like the ponds, like the lakes, like the rivers, and like the streams. So, it is found in all. And this fish, it is a common fish food. This is a common fish food. Bengalis or whatever fish lovers who love to eat the fish, they simply eat this fish. They simply eat this. This is a common fish food which is eaten all over the, I can say in the India as well as all over the world where it is found. Fine. Now we will look onto this structure. When we see this fish, the body color, it is dark greenish black color. This fish, its body color is the dark greenish black with the orange fins are there. Here you can see the orange fins are there. So this fish is not very big. It's very small fish and it has a dark greenish black color with the orange fins it has. Now, when we look into its body, what kind of shape it has? Its body is spindle shape. Its body is spindle shape and it has a streamlined body. And streamlined, what is the meaning of streamlined body? Means like a boat. It has a streamlined body and its body is literally compressed. Literally compressed means it is literally flattened. Flat hai ye. It is literally flattened. Why? This kind of adaptation it is found in this fish. I tell you the reason. The thing is that This fish, it is an aquatic fish. It is an aquatic vertebrate. It is an aquatic chordate that lives in water, that lives in fresh water. So see, it is living in the water. So it has to swim continuously. See, it has to swim continuously. If it's not, if she not swim, otherwise she will get drowned. She will get drowned. Fine. So what happens? In order to swim continuously, she must have certain kind of body shape, which will help her to swim in the water. So that's why this fish, it has a spindle shaped body, it has a streamlined body, and its body is literally flattened. That uh, that helps this fish to reduce the friction when it passes through the water, and it do not offer any kind of resistance to the water, so that this fish, it can easily swim through the water, it easily sails through the water, it easily makes its way through the water, and this helps this fish in swimming. Simply, in short word, what I can say, this kind of body shape, it helps this fish to simply swim in the water. Now when we look onto the body in great detail, we find that its body is divided into three parts. Here you can see its body is divided into three parts. The first part, it is the head. Here you can see the head is there at the anterior end. At the anterior end. The next part, it is a trunk. Next part, it is the trunk. It is the middle portion of this fish. And last part, or the post-anal part, it is a tail. It is a tail. Fine, which is situated at the posterior end. Which is at the posterior end. So the tail is at the posterior end. Now, when we look onto this structure, the body is divided into three parts: head, trunk, and tail. Now, first we will discuss the head. Now, this head, it is situated at the anterior end of this fish, and this head actually, it protrudes out into a snout. This is a snout. This is the snout of that fish. This is the snout of this fish. So this head, it actually protrudes out at the anterior end. We call this protruded end as the snout. And this snout, below this snout, you can find a terminal mouth. You can find a terminal mouth. And on this head, you also found a pair of lateral eyes are there. A pair of lateral eyes are there on both the sides of the head, as well as a pair of nostrils are also present on this snout. On this snout. Now, on the basis of it, can you tell me what kind of fish it is? It belongs to the chondrocthyte family, or it belongs to the osteochthyes family? It is a cartilaginous fish, or it is a bony fish? I give you a hint. I give you a hint. The mouse is terminal. The mouse is terminal. Yes, it's a osteothite fish. It is a bony fish. It is a bony fish. So all those bony fishes, why they belong to the osteothite, I tell you. See, all these fishes, they are endoskeleton. Their endoskeleton, internal skeleton, it is made up of the bones. It is made up of the bones. That's why these fishes, they are called as the bony fishes. And certain characteristics are there of these bony fishes, like that they have the terminal mouth. They have the terminal mouth, and along with that, they have the gills for the respiration. And all these gills, they are protected. They are covered by the means of a flap, by the means of a cover. That cover we call as a operculum. That cover we call as a operculum. And what other feature they have? These bony fishes, they have the air bladder and swim bladder in them. They have the air bladder and swim bladder in them, which is filled with the air, that provides buoyancy to this fish, so that this fish this fish she can this fish, when she swims in the water, अगर वो थोड़े टाइम मूवमेंट अपना बंद भी कर दे, then she will not drown. डूबेगी नहीं, because the air bladder, swim bladders are there in its body, which will provide buoyancy to that fish. It will not drown if it stops its movement. It will stop its movement in the water because the air bladder and swim bladder help this fish to swim in the water. It provides buoyancy. It helps to afloat. It helps in the swimming. While when we compare to the chondrothecs fishes or the cartilaginous fishes, in that these air bladder and swim bladder are not there. For example, Scoliodon. Scoliodon dogfish, it is a cartilaginous fish. It do not have any swim bladder because it belongs to the chondrothec class, cartilaginous fish class. उनकी पूरी body it is made up of the cartilaginous. उनका endoskeleton it is made up of the cartilage, not bony नहीं होता, cartilage होता है. So, in that fish, if air bladder and swim bladder is absent in the Scoliodon, now that is the reason all these fishes they continuously swim in the sea water. They continuously swim in the sea water, that Scoliodon, and to prevent it from the drowning. To prevent it from the drowning. Agar for a moment it stops that movement in the water, it will start drowning. डूबने लगती, it will start drowning. So this is the difference between the Ostreothecs and Chondrothecs. Chondrothecs we will study in great detail. So first focus on this fish. So this fish, it is a bony fish. It has a head at its interior end and it has a terminal mouth. Along with it has a pair of the lateral eye which is situated on the both side of the head, and it has a pair of the nostril which is situated at the snout. Now, moving on to the next. The second part, it is a trunk. So this trunk, this trunk actually it is oval in shape. It is oval in shape. This is the middle portion. It is oval in shape. Now, the next and the last part, it is a tail. So tail, it forms the posterior end of this fish, and it helps this fish in the swimming. How? Because it is provided with a caudal fin. With the help of this caudal fin, along with other fins like dorsal fin, pectoral and pelvic fin and anal fin, all these fins, they help this fish in swimming in the water. So this was the explanation of all the three parts of this fish. Now, one more thing. The entire body of this fish, it is covered by the means of the scales, by the means of these scales. Here you can see the scales are there. These are very large and big scales, and these scales they are the ctenoid type or they are the cycloid scales are present. Big and overlapping. Here you can see all these scales, they are overlapping with each other. So all these scales, they are the ctenoid type or the cycloid type. Can anyone name why the scales they are present on these fishes? Why these scales they are present on these fishes? Can anyone write in the chat box? Simply for the protection, yes. See the entire body of this fish, it is covered by the means of the scale. See this fish, she has to live in the water all the time. So these scales, they are impermeable to the water. They are waterproof. Water cannot enter inside the body of this fish, because its body it is protected. It is covered by the means of these scales. By the means of these scales. Fine. If these scales were not there, then you can imagine the water, it will go on and on inside the body of this fish, and this fish will become swell up, and finally it will burst. So this is how these scales, they are there to protect its body. Fine. Now, can anyone write in the chat box, what are these scales? Are these a part of the exoskeleton or these are the part of the endoskeleton? I give you a hint, since these are present on the outer side of their body. So what will be the correct choice? Exo or endo? Exo or endo? Yes, exoskeleton. Yes, it's correct. Yes. So this fish, these scales, the entire body of this fish, it is covered by the means of an exoskeleton. And this exoskeleton, actually it is made up of these overlapping scales that we call as a ctenoid scale and cycloid scale. Or when we talk about its endoskeleton, the endoskeleton is totally bony. It's totally made up of the bones. That's why it is called as a bony fish. Fine. So So this point is done. Again, we come on to the fins. So this fish, it has variety of the fins on its body. These can be the paired or these can be the unpaired. The dorsal fin is there, pectoral and pelvic fins are there, anal fin is there, and the caudal fin is there. What is the function? The function of these fins, it simply helps this fish in the swimming. Now, one important characteristic, this fish, since it belongs to the ostropix class, bony fish category, it has the air bladder and swim bladder. Function is to give buoyancy to the fish so that it cannot drown in the water. And this fish, since it is an aquatic vertebrate, it is living in the water. So here the lungs, it cannot work. Lungs, they cannot work because they do not have any lungs. So what will be the organ of respiration for them? So for these fishes which are living in the water, which are aquatic, they have an adaptation in which they have the gills. They have the gills. In this fish, they generally have the 4 pair of gills. With the help of these gills, they respire. They respire. So these gills, they are the organ of respiration which are found in these fishes, which help these fishes in the exchange of gases in the water. The exchange of gases in the water. And since it is a bony fish, Ostothites class को belong करती है, that's why these gills, they are not naked. They are covered by the means of a cover or flap. That flap is called as the operculum. That flap is called as the operculum. So this was a description for this fish. We will move on to the next slide. So yes, next is the mrigal fish. Mrigal fish or the mrigal carp, or it is also called as a white carp. Why it is called as a white carp? See, its body is very shiny. It's very shiny. It's very silvery in appearance. That's why it is called as a white carp. So its zoological name is a Chirinus cirrhosis, Chirinus mrigala, and it is also commonly known as a white carp. Again, this fish, it is a freshwater bony fish. Means it lives in the freshwater bodies like ponds, rivers, lakes. And since it is a bony fish, that's why its endoskeleton is totally made up of the bones. Fine. Now, when we look onto this fish, the color of this fish, it is a silvery. It is a silver color fish, and sometimes it can be the dark gray also. Sometimes in some fishes, this color, it can be dark gray also with copper tinges there. Your tails and fins, they have certain copper finishing in them, copper tinge in them. And when we look onto the shape of this fish, its body shape is the spindle. Its body is spindle shape. Its body is small, not very big, it's very small. And it has a streamlined body, and its body is literally compressed and literally flattened. Why? Because this shape, this particular shape, is an adaptation for this fish that helps this fish to simply swim in the water. To simply swim in the water. Now, when we look on to the parts of this fish, the body is again divided into 3 parts. This is the head. This middle portion is the trunk. And this last portion, it is the tail. Head, trunk and tail. Descriptions are same, so I will not repeat it. Head, it contains a pair of lateral eyes. Snout is there. Pair of nostrils are there. And now trunk portion. This trunk portion, it is covered by the means of an exoskeleton. This exoskeleton is made up of the scales. Here you can see the scales are there. All these scales, they are overlapping. In this case, the scales, they are very large and overlapping. These are the cycloid scales. These are the cycloid scales. But these scales, they are absent on the head, they are absent on the snout, and they are absent on the tails as well as on the fins. So these scales, they are mainly present on the trunk portion. The middle portion hai, trunk portion hai, this trunk portion, it actually covered by the means of these cycloid scales. It is absent on the head and snout, it is absent on the tail. Now, this fish, since it is a bony fish, the mouth is terminal. The mouth is terminal. The mouth is very broad. The mouth is supported by the means of the lips. Upper lip is there, lower lip is there. And Since this fish, it is a bony fish, so jaws will be there. Upper jaws will be there, lower jaws will be there, and they will have the teeth in it. They will have the teeth in it in the three rows. And see, this fish, it lives in the fresh water and it generally lives in the bottom of the pond. So it is a bottom feeder. Bottom feeder means it generally goes to the bottom of the ponds, lakes and river, and there it feeds upon the algae. It feeds upon the rotten plant material, and it also feeds upon the phytoplanktons. It also feeds upon the phytoplankton. So this is the food for this fish. And this fish is very small. And so that's why it attains its sexual maturity in 2 years only. In 2 years, it becomes adult. Now she can reproduce. She can lay the eggs. She can lay the eggs. When the fishes they are laying the eggs, what they will be called? Viviparous or oviparous? Can anyone write in the chat box? When these fishes they are laying the eggs, they will be called as the oviparous or viviparous. Yes, they will be called as the oviparous. So the fishes which lay the eggs, they are called as the oviparous. Oviparous. So this fish, it actually breeds during the breeding season. Its breeding season starts during the monsoon. Monsoon means during the June and July. So this is the time when this fish will breed. This fish will breed and the female, it will lay the eggs, and these eggs, they are laid in such a large number like 1.5 lakh to 2.5 lakh of their body weight per body weight. Fine. In such a large number, they lay the eggs. And similarly, this is a female fish. It will lay the egg. Similarly, the male fish, it will give out the sperms. It will give out the sperms in the water. It will give out the sperms in the water, and in the water only the external fertilization will take place. The eggs they get fertilized by the sperms which are released by the male fish, and external fertilization will occur in the water, and the development of the embryo will start. So here you can see the fishes, these fishes, they are oviparous, they are laying the eggs. And see, this time it is called as a spawning. This spawning is found in the fishes. Spawning means this is the time of the breeding season when both the male and female fish, they are ready. They are ready for the mating, they are ready for the fertilization. So at the same time, at the similar time, the female, it lays the eggs, and at the same time the male fish, it will start releasing the sperm from his body. See, the timing is same. That's why the fertilization occurs in the external fertilization occurs in the water, and the formation of zygote occurs, and then the development of embryo will take place. From that, the baby fishes will come out. Fine. And this is the time, monsoon time, when these fishes they breed through this method. Fine. So we will move on to the next slide. Next is a contradictor. It's different. So we will see how the next slide it is next page it is different from these two fishes that we have studied so far. So next page it is a Scoliodon. This we have also done in the class 11. Again, it's a part of your syllabus. Scoliodon. It is commonly called as a dogfish and the Indian shark. It is also called as the Indian dogfish or Indian dog shark. Variety of the name for this fish. See, first contradiction, first difference. This fish, it is a marine fish. It is a marine water fish. It is found in the seas and oceans. Indian oceans. It is found in Indian seas and oceans. So first difference, it is a marine fish. It is found in the seas and ocean. It belongs to the India as well as other countries and continents also. So, and can anyone write in the chat box what kind of fish it is? It is a cartilaginous fish or it is a bony fish. It belongs to the class Chondrochytes or it belongs to the class Osteocytes. Yes, it is a cartilaginous fish. It belongs to the class Chondrochytes. See, these chondrophyte fishes, they have the cartilaginous endoskeleton. Means उनका जो endoskeleton है, it is made up of totally of the cartilage. Totally of the cartilage, which is a primitive feature. Which is a primitive feature. See, what happens during the course of the evolution? First, the fishes that have the endoskeleton made up of the cartilage, they have evolved. After that, that cartilage it is replaced by the means of the bone. Then the bony fishes, they have evolved. They have evolved during the course of the evolution. During the course of the evolution. So this fish, it is a primitive fish, and it is still living today. We can still find this fish today. So it's a marine fish. It is a cartilaginous fish that belongs to the class Chondrophyte. Its endoskeleton is made up of the cartilage. Fine. When we look onto its structure, body shape, what kind of body shape it has? It has an elongated body. It's very large fish. It has an elongated body. It has a spindle-shaped body. Again, the spindle-shaped body is there. And what is the difference of spindle shape? See, its body is tapered at both the ends. ये जो दोनों ends है, they both are pointed. They both are tapered. So that's why that make this fish is a very fast swimmer. It simply runs, it simply rush, it simply sails through the water very fast, very fast. Why? Because first plus point, it is having a spindle shaped body. Second plus point, both of its end they are pointed, they are tapered. That's why simply पानी को cut करते हुए it simply goes through it. So that's why it's a very fast swimmer. Another characteristic of its body shape, its body is streamlined like other fishes. Its body is laterally compressed like other fishes. That helps this fish to swim very fast through the water. Now, one more thing. This fish, it has a pointed snout. Other fishes, when we see into the other fishes, what kind of snout they have? They generally have the round snout. So this particular fish, it has a pointed snout. It has a tapered snout. That's why this fish, it is also commonly called as a sharp-nosed shark. इसकी जो nose है बहुत pointed है, बहुत sharp है. That's why it is called as a sharp-nosed shark. Now, this is the picture showing how its body is divided into three parts. Its body, again, it is divided into three parts. See, this is the head. This is the trunk. This is the trunk and this is the tail. So its body is divided into three parts. Anterior, at the anterior end, the head is there. So its head, it contains a pair of the lateral eyes. It contains a pointed snout. And on this pointed snout, you will find a pair of external nostrils are there. And beside this, you can also find a mouth. Now, can anyone write in the chat box what is the location of this mouth? This mouth is terminal, this mouth is dorsal, this mouth is ventral. What is the position of this mouth? Since it is a cartilaginous fish, its mouth is ventrally located. Its mouth is ventrally located. So it is the difference between the bony fish and cartilaginous fish. Their mouth is ventrally located. Ventrally located. See, this is the dorsal surface of this fish. This is the ventral surface. So when the mouth is located on the ventral side, that is called as a ventrally located mouth. Fine. Now this is the trunk portion. This trunk portion, when we compare this trunk portion to the other fishes, they have the very bulbous, mota, rounded kind of trunk they have. But this fish, its trunk is very elongated. Its trunk is very elongated. It is spindle shape and it is streamlined. That's why this fish, it is a very fast swimmer. It is a very fast swimmer. And the entire body of this fish, it is covered by the means of an exoskeleton. Here in this case, this exoskeleton is made up of the placoid scale. They are very minute scale. So whole body from snout to the tail, its body is covered by the means of these placoid scales. We have seen this model of this fish in our biology lab. So you have seen how its body is covered by the means of these placoid scales. So these placoid scales, they will simply help the prevent of water into the body of this fish. So the last part of its body is the tail. So this tail, here you can see this tail is located at the posterior end of this fish. It is supported by the means of the caudal fin. So that helps this fish in the swimming. Now, what kind of tail it has? Homocircle or heterocircle tail it has. So what is the difference between the homo and the heterocircle tail? So what kind of tail it have? I give you a hint. It is made up of unequal lobes. It is made up of the unequal lobes. So what kind of tail it will be? Hetero or homo? It is a hetero. Yes, it is a hetero. It is a hetero. Yes, because it is made up of the unequal lobes. So yes, all these characteristics, they are the difference between the bony fishes and cartilaginous fishes. You can see here, you can see the tail. It is made up of यहाँ जो fin है, they are equal in length. Equal in length. That's why these fishes, they have the hetero, they have the homocircle tail. Homocircle क्योंकि इनके दोनों lobes equal हैं. इनके दोनों lobes equal हैं. And when we see this cartilaginous fish, that is a dogfish, Scalodon, यहाँ पे it's made up of the unequal lobe. That's why it has a heterocircle tail. Fine. So these are the differences between the osteocytes and chondrocytes. We have studied the representative of both. Cartilaginous fishes we have studied the Scalodon and dogfish, and osteocytes we have studied the mriggle fish and the this rohu fish, Labiorohita. So now you can point out the difference between these two. So that was the main idea to select all these three fishes for this class. So yes, now the next, moving on to the next slide. See, since this is Scalodon fish, it lives in the water. It lives in the water. So the mode of the respiration, it will be aquatic only. So it respires with the help of the gills. How many gills are there? There are the 5 pair of the gills are present. Here you can see. Here you can see the 5 pairs of the gills are present. Since this fish it belongs, since this fish is belong to the class Chondrothex, which is a cartilaginous fish. That's why these gill slits, all the gills, they are naked. They are not covered by the means of a flap. They are not covered by the means of the operculum. They are not covered by the means of the operculum. So again, this is the difference between the chondrothex and osteothex. Earlier fishes, they have a gills covered by the means of the operculum, but here the operculum is absent. So this is again the point of the difference. So you must know what is the difference. What is the difference? So here the 5 pair of gills are present. They are not covered by the means of the operculum, and with the help of this gill, this fish actually respires in the water. It helps the fish in the exchange of gases in the water. Fine. Now it has a variety of the fins on its body. It has the pectoral fins and pelvic fin. Pectoral fin, they are the paired fins. The pelvic fins are also there. Here you can find the pelvic fin. Pairs mein hai, so these are the paired fin, pectoral fins. These are also paired, pelvic fins are there. Now, ventral fin is also there, but it's not visible from this picture. One ventral fin is also there, as well as the 2 dorsal fins will also be there, and one heterocircle tail will be there. In previous slide, it was visible. I will show you. One ventral fin, 2 dorsal fin will be there, and heterocircle tail we have already discussed. Now, one thing that I am going to tell you is that in other fishes, sexual dimorphism means to identify the male and female is very difficult. Why? For example, in the labio, for example, in the mriggle fish, what happens when their breeding season it comes nearer? Then only we can identify this is the male, okay, this is the female. How? Because when their breeding season it approaches the male fishes, their pelvic fins, they become rough. They become rough. They use these rough pelvic fins for the purpose of copulation, with the other fishes. Or you can say in other fishes also, what we have studied, all other fishes, they have the external fertilization. Once the mating is done, they will release their eggs, they will release their sperm in the water. External fertilization will happen. external fertilization will happen. So that's why all those bony fishes that we have studied, the labio and the mrigal fish, the sexual dimorphism, initially it was not there. You cannot identify when they are not in their breeding season, this is the male, this is the female. Only when the breeding season it comes, then only we can say, yes, this is the male and this is the female. But this is not the case in this Scalodon fish. See, sexual dimorphism is there since its birth. How? I tell you. Sexual dimorphism means there is a distinct male and females are there in this fish. You can identify the male and female fish. How? See, the male fishes, they have the claspers. They have the claspers on the inner side of their pelvic fin. On the inner side of the pelvic fin, as it is present since their birth. So that's why from their birth you can know this is the male, this is the female because the claspers are there. If the clasper is there, this is the male fish. If claspers are not there, cloaca is there, then this is the female fish. But this is not the case in the other fishes. In the other fishes. So when the breeding season it comes, these claspers they are used by the male fish for the copulation with the female fish. And in this fish, internal fertilization is found. Through this male claspers, the spermatic fluid it is directly ejaculated inside the female reproductive tract of the fish. And inside the body of the fish, the fertilization, internal fertilization will take place. Meeting of sperm and egg will take place, and the formation of zygote will take place. Internal development of that embryo will take place, and this fish actually it belongs to the category of viviparous fish. So now you tell me what kind of category it belongs, oviparous or viviparous fish. I give you a hint. The development it is taking place inside. Internal fertilization it is happening. Then the development will also be the internal. So yes, it's correct. It's the viviparous fish. The development of the embryo of the egg, it will take place inside the body of that female, in the uterus of that female, and this female Scalodon, it will finally deliver the young babies from their body. This is the major difference between this fish and the other fishes. Other fishes, they were oviparous. They were laying the eggs. They were laying the eggs. Fertilization was external. Development of embryo was external, and the babies comes out. But here the case is different. This is a viviparous. It is directly giving birth to the young ones. So this is the major difference. That's why I have picked them. I have picked this fish. So now this is the main part. Now I stop sharing. I will start my video. So I will start my video. Now, this is the main part. Now, yes, tell me, what is this? What is this? What kind of fish it is? Yes, now you identify and write in the chat box. This is a part of a biology practical. This is the fish I have taken from the biology lab. So what kind of fish it is? It is a mrigal, it is a labio, or it is a Scalodon. Identify it, write in the chat box. What kind of fish it is? It is a mrigal fish, it is a labio fish, it is a labio fish. See, it is a terminal mouth. I give you a hint, it has a terminal mouth and it is a homosuckle tail. It's a very small fish and it is white in color, silvery fish. So what kind of fish it is? Yes, it is a mrigal fish. It is a mrigal fish. Your identification is correct. So you have to comment upon it. Now the next is a